Surprise, motherfucker.
Solar panel time. I have been waiting to do this for weeks. Why? Because it takes weeks to get a charger controller from fucking eBay. I have the charge controller, the inverter, the panels, and the battery. So now, we're going to make this work. I'm going to wire these three up in succession, and then I'm going to run the wires to the charging controller, and then the charging controller to the battery, and then I'm going to wire up the inverter from the battery, and I should be able to run 200 to 300 watts, no problem. We'll see though. It's all about storage. It's not really about the panels. You just got to be able to store power in your battery at a rate much faster than you use it. Okay. Now I've got them all wired together in series, not parallel or anything weird like that, because I don't even think you could do that with panels. From all the videos I've seen, probably not. This is a learning experience for me too, basically. But all the panels are wired together in a way that they should take sunlight, and they should be able to carry current. Now I just have to go ahead and bridge that with my shielded cable, which I got from scrapping. And I'm hoping shielded cable will cause less current loss than unshielded cable. It's a hypothesis. It's still a work in progress. So we're going to see. I don't know. Okay, as you can see, this is working. It says it's under load because the battery is just wired up right now. Got a cable going all the way down to the battery. I hooked up some heavier gauge wire at the end of it. Don't worry, it's all separated. Should have used wire nuts. I'm just going with electrical tape right now for like pretty much rough draft of what I'm doing. But I'm using the heavier gauge wire because supposedly it helps prevent off-gassing and that type of thing with the battery. I'm not really worried about it. My door spins a lot of time open. The windows are open. I think I'm going to be just fine. I even sleep with those stuff open. So it's no big deal to me. Sleep with windows open. So, yeah, altogether, it should be okay. But, charge controller does work, and it is wired up. Now I just have to wire the panels into the charge controller as well. It's only 20 amps though, but I'm only going to be running the thermoelectric cooler over there. It's not really going to matter too much. Okay, right now I am using solar power to charge my tools. I have my panels. Okay. Look behind that, and you can see that the negatives all go to the negatives, the positives all go to the positives. From there, we go to shielded cable, which goes all the way through my door and up into my charging controller. My charging controller goes all the way down to my battery. To the cables, and then my inverter from there, which are these clamps right here. That's my inverter. Has my flashlight plugged into it, and we are charging my flashlight with my panels. Free electricity. Next, we'll be plugging in my fridge. You know, the ironic thing is, there was a time last year when my ex-fiance overloaded one of the electrical sockets in the house, or one of the electrical outlets, with a USB phone charger that was made in Taiwan. And I couldn't even fix the electrical outlet because her father had wired it up backwards and no one told me about it. So for hours I sat there and hated myself. And now I can wire up an entire solar powered system with nothing more than electrical tape and a pair of pliers. Ironic, isn't it? Now the ironic thing is, I can even go a step further and I can use printer ports, well, USB 1.0, and then USB ports, modem jacks, ton of outlets. Basically, the only thing that's going to inhibit me from doing anything would be the size of the inverter I have. Right now I'm only using a 200-watt inverter. I know where there's a few 500 for sale that a buddy of mine has. But this is a Fernlight office system. Actually has 3-stage power on it, with the USB, the modem jacks. And I got it at Goodwill for $2.99. If you look it up, it's actually worth about $85 on eBay right now. I can basically power my entire tiny house with this, connected to one battery and then one decent wattage of an inverter. So I've got the panels. They go all the way into the house, to the battery, and then I've got the charge controller working with all that, and the inverter on the battery, which is totally charging my tools or whatever I want. And then I've got the Fernlight office system on top of that, where I can run a number of small devices, or even phone lines or modems. Okay, after much trial and error, if you look, these wires had to be spliced on to a new 12-volt end because the end of this last cable was all rusted and broken and the fuses were all fucked up, so I had to cut it. And I cut it off the cooler because, well, I wanted the damn refrigerator to work. I'm tired of not having eggs in the morning and stuff. So now, fan's running, it's getting cool. I got the actual 12-volt end off this baby right here. See the dangling piece of wire? It is connected to what is a light and a small ceramic heater with a fuse in it. So what I'm going to end up doing is probably ceiling mounting this heater, and then I'll go ahead and make a quick change 12-volt plug-in, probably just with some wire nuts or something like that, so I can have heat and a fridge whenever I just feel like alternating plug-ins. So basically I'll just have 2 stages with one plug-in. I'll have a heater and a refrigerator. But sometimes you just got to make do with what you got. I could have given up with this rusted piece of shit end, but I realized in a truck I just got rid of, I kept a small heater that was 12 volt for emergencies. So, you know, problem solved. A little ingenuity. Okay, I still have to wrap my cords up in a neat, tidy bundle so I don't trip over everything. It helps if they're shielded. But I have the battery, the inverter, everything's all hooked up via charge controller and panels. Okay, I've got this one, which is my 120, as my Fernlight right here, which is still powered on. So I can power anything I want to, as previously stated. And then I have my 12-volt plug-in, which is powering my refrigerator right now. Well, thermoelectric cooler. And then, since I had to harvest some parts from my small heater slash light right there, these are usually kind of found in cars, I made a quick disconnect off of another one. I got off a scrap pile. So now I have a heater and a light I can easily change out. I'll go ahead and do that real quick. Okay, let's give you a final summary, YouTube. Anyway, what I ended up having to do was go to the hardware store because I learned 200 watts doesn't power shit. That barely powers my laptop. It's definitely not enough to power my laptop and my fridge, although it's only altogether like 125 watts. 200 watts should do it, but it doesn't. So what I ended up doing was making my own setup. Now attached to the load section of this actual charge controller is a 12-volt plug-in. I think I'm about the only person on YouTube to attach a 12-volt plug-in to the load section of a charge controller. But if you think about it, it's an ingenious way to do it because it's not going to drain your battery completely dead and make it useless, so you'll still have an ability to charge it. Then, as you go down, we've upgraded to a 500-watt inverter. Now that'll be enough to sustain my laptop and my refrigerator full time. Not to mention that I'll be able to run a small heater if I need to when it gets too cold in the wintertime. And it's all sitting on top of my battery. I still have to build a box. But it's only like $40 to upgrade the whole thing. Yeah, I hate spending money when I have to, but altogether I have $95 this entire setup. That's panels, that's battery, that's inverter, that's charge controller, and that's the upgrades as well. So, and this little guy, what are you doing, buddy? Alright, YouTube, apparently I gotta go. Hope you enjoyed my solar video. This guy needs a Coke.